Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and in this video I'm going to be explaining how best to tune your car for racing in GTA Online, because even now there's still some ambiguity over it, and even though I've gone over most of these things in previous videos in this series, it is good to have one single video that can be used as a reference. So first of all, we're going to talk about straight line speed, and for this you need the engine, the transmission and the turbo upgrades. It doesn't matter about the acceleration bar in Los Santos Customs. If that is maxed out, you will still gain benefit from adding the things that you don't already have, and these also increase top speed as well, not just acceleration, as I've shown in previous videos in this series, episodes 4 and 5 in particular, and if I ever talk about a previous episode I will leave a link in the description for more information on that. But yeah, you need the maximum engine, maximum transmission upgrades and the turbo upgrade to ensure that your car is going at the highest top speed possible and has the best acceleration that it possibly can have. So that's straight line speed, but what about deceleration speed? That is all to do with brakes. So you get the maximum braking upgrade on your car that will allow you to brake quicker when you're going into a corner. So that's straight line speed and acceleration, and straight line deceleration as well. But what about cornering speed? Well, for cornering speed, obviously that is a spoiler. So you need a spoiler on your car because that will give you increased grip in the corners, and that will allow the car to travel around those corners at a higher speed than what it otherwise would have been able to. Now, all cars don't necessarily have a spoiler available, and if there are multiple spoiler options available on a car, you can have any one of them. All spoilers give exactly the same benefit, and even the no spoiler option on cars like the ETR1 for example still give a boost to grip because they're not the stock option. So the stock spoiler that can come with a vehicle is the only exception to the rule. For example, cars like the Kuruma and the Infernus, they have a stock spoiler that come with the vehicle when you buy it. Those spoilers do not give any benefit, so you can't have those, you can't leave those and expect to get the same benefit as you would for putting on an extra spoiler or an aftermarket spoiler or something like that. So yeah, spoilers are important. You definitely need an extra spoiler on, and as long as it's not the stock spoiler, you will gain benefit from that, and it doesn't matter which one you have. Now, for wheels, now it comes to tyres, wheels, there's still a lot of people who don't necessarily agree with this, but in the vast majority of cases, the type of wheels that you have on your car doesn't matter at all. You can have any kind of wheel tyre type. It makes absolutely no difference to the performance. You don't get any increased grip. You don't get anything better for having one type of tyre than another type of tyre. You can put bulletproof tyres on, custom tyres on, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be exactly the same. There are a very small number of cars, however, that do benefit from having off-road wheels when it comes to absorbing bumps in the road. These cars have the tyres can clip handling flag, and that can be found in the spreadsheet link below, but there's also a lot more detail about this and why this works in episode 17 of this series. But ultimately, for the vast majority of cars, it makes absolutely no difference what wheels you have on. There's only a very small number where having off-road wheels will help when it comes to going over bumps and curbs on the road, for example. Now, when it comes to protection, you need to have 100% armor on your car. But you don't necessarily need it, but it will certainly help because it's very rare to have a GTA race where you aren't going to be getting hit or hit somebody else or crash or something like that. So 100% armor will obviously help because when you get damage on your car, it will perform worse, it will go slower, and damage is generally something that you don't want to have. Now, a lot of people seem to still think that weight has an effect on performance, and that is not true whatsoever. You can have 100% armor on your car and that will not affect the performance of your vehicle in any way whatsoever. So you always want the maximum armor on your car. It doesn't matter that you're getting extra weight from it. Weight in this game has no effect on performance regardless of anything to do with the weight aspects in the game code or anything like that. The only thing that weight affects in this game is collisions. So a car that has more weight will be better at hitting another car that has less weight. That's all it does. Makes no difference to speed or cornering ability or anything like that. And that's it. Those are all the car modifications that you really want on your car to ensure that you're going as quickly as possible. All of the car modifications have absolutely no effect on performance at all, and you can have as many or as few cosmetic upgrades and there will be no difference to how fast your car goes. That goes for side skirts, bumpers, hoods, carbon hoods, carbon roofs. None of it has any effect on car performance, so you can just go wild and put anything that you want on to make it look as good as it possibly can be in your personal opinion. At this point, by adding the things that I've mentioned at the start of this video, you've done enough to make your car or bike as quick as possible, and the next step basically is just figuring out how to go faster when actually racing by taking advantage of racing lines, getting better yourself, and various other tricks that are involved in racing in this game. I highly recommend watching episode 6 of this series for all the details that you need about that and how to generally be quicker in a racing situation and win more races. One final note before I finish this video is that there are certain fine-tuning aspects when it comes to car balance that is a very advanced feature that will rarely make a difference in any racing situation unless you're specifically pushing for record lap times. And you know, the jury is still out there, I would say, a little bit about it and whether it makes a significant difference, but it's not going to be do or die about whether you win a race. But these fine-tuning aspects are basically things like having a larger spoiler can shift the centre of mass of the car further back and change the balance of the car in corners. Ultimately, you don't need to worry about stuff like this until you get to a level where you really are pushing for those world record lap times, and the most people who are going to be pushing for that sort of stuff will be involved in racing communities, of which I'll leave a link in the description if you want to join mine. But these are people who are going to be involved in racing communities, really know the ins and outs of the game in particular, and don't necessarily need me to be covering that in a video because they already know it. So don't worry about any of that. All you need to do is add the things that I've mentioned in this video, and you will be absolutely fine in any normal race in a racing situation to make sure that your car is as quick as possible. So I hope this video has helped in giving you a guide, a general guide on what to do to make your car as quickly as possible and the right tuning setup that you need for your car. There's not a lot to it really, you know, it's just very simple, but there's still a lot of people who don't necessarily know these things or read into it too much. But hopefully this has helped, and I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for all the support as always, and I'll see you next time.